Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we are talking about the markets in general, what to expect over the next few weeks. Listen, the world is going crazy, as we know. Consistent updates, news events, tariffs this, tariffs that, elections for this country, elections for that country, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, and the world is going crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, in general, it is benefiting us. So, you know, that is what I love to see. We also know, ladies and gentlemen, unless you don't know, global liquidity will be entering, the markets. It has been entering the markets, and it should be entering crypto very, very soon over the next few short weeks, which aligns with the timeline, right? I've said on this channel before that I believe, January, February, March were going to be, it's going to be a red quarterly candle because it was going to practically be the retest off of these highs roughly, right? And then I did say in the beginning of April, I did expect potential pushes lower, but then for things to flip, and it makes sense, right? We can see, even if we take away this green box, ladies and gentlemen, that this candle over here, right, this wick right over here at roughly $77,000. It was a monthly candle, it was a quarterly candle, it was a weekly candle, and then it was a daily candle as well. So, it all got swept, and you can see the moment it got swept, it started to reverse. Once we got this big daily candle of, Bitcoin going up roughly $10,000 again, we did talk about how I expected things just to, retest off of here, going back into this order block candle to then push higher. And that is exactly what has happened, ladies and gentlemen. So exciting times. I do expect Bitcoin to start making its way up to roughly, I would say 90,500 to 92,000, somewhere over here, because this is the next big zone, right? Not only that, but we also have a good amount of imbalance upwards until, 94K. So we can see we have all this structure, all this weekly and monthly structure. We have imbalance, and I do expect Bitcoin to be going into that. We do have this weekly order block candle, which I am still skeptical about because, we are pushing up, but we are starting to lose a little bit of momentum, and we are coming to this relevant top over here. So we could potentially see a little bit of a dip if, we do not hold. However, if this zone right over here holds, right? If this zone holds, then there's a very good chance that we will continue and flip, and we will continue to push upwards of 90 to even $93,000 this week, right? We could be going right into this zone right over here. Now, where do I think we are in the markets compared to, just a couple months ago? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are somewhere roughly, I would say, right over here. Okay. Right over here is where we're at. I do think we are just a few weeks away from everything exploding. The reason why I do believe that's the case, because we have something very, very similar happening, right? So we are looking to go above these highs, which we are currently at, right? And we can see momentum started to slow down. Then we got a pullback. Then we got some consolidation for a week, right, in this zone. So we got a pullback for 1 week. Then we were sideways for another week. And then we just started to pump. And, we're just going consistently up, which would make sense, right? If we do not go upwards of 92, 93K this week, then we could see a pullback. Then we could see more sideways movement until we start making big moves up to like 93, 94K, see a little bit of a pullback, consolidation, and next thing you know, we're back up to $104,000, which is what we want, right? I know a lot of you guys are kind of getting over the fact that, altcoins are not where people thought they would be, but, a lot of altcoins are still going to pump heavy this cycle as long as you have a good portfolio with a lot of coins that are considered, real coins, utility coins, and etc. You should be fine, and you should be making decent money. Okay, that is just the reality. If you have meme coins, it's a 50-50 because it depends on the meme coin you're holding. If you're holding something like Bonk, Turbo, Doge, Trump, maybe Brett, maybe SPX, all those they're gonna go range from being solid to great, right? Other meme coins, I can't, say. If you have something like Peanut or Pengu, I do worry for you a little bit. Look, we will talk about Bitcoin dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance, ladies and gentlemen, it is moving upwards, right? It is straight up moving upwards. We are at pretty much equal highs right over here when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, but we will probably be pushing upwards of 65% or more, right? When we go on something like the weekly, we do have the end of the structure here. So we could get to 65%, see a little bit of a dip, and then we should be smashing it, right? We really should be smashing it after that point because there is a lot of imbalances when there's lack of support and resistance. So from 65 to 68, 69% is, where we should really, really pump hard. And the thing is, right, if we did pump hard to those zones, to those areas, then that's good because, ladies and gentlemen, right, once we start getting in general roughly to, I would say, let's just say 68 and a half, upwards of 72% is when I would start expecting some type of reversals in this zone. And that is when altcoin season is going to get triggered. So look, right now, over the last few months, we were battling with this big zone, big structure. But ladies and gentlemen, we are looking to be pushing above it, right? We are almost at 65%. So if we took the box all the way up here, then you can see we are on top of this zone. We are pretty much past the worst amount, the hardest part to get past. And then now we are going to finally the tops where things should, consolidate, which is pretty much go sideways, right? We'll go sideways for a little bit once we tap into it, crash, then probably just mimic the structure and then crash again. So once we have this crash over here from, let's just say 70% back down to 63, that's when altcoins will pump hard. And then they're going to consolidate again for a while. And then they are just going to pump hard for those 4 to 8 weeks. And I am super, super stoked. I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited. I'm ready to cash out. I've been pumping my money. I've been saving. I've been pumping more money. And, I made life changes over the last, year and a half to 2 years to really save money, just really, really, really save money and keep putting money into crypto. And I cannot wait for all of it to pay off. But yeah, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Things are looking really, really solid. We were just speaking about something like Bitcoin, just a second ago, and it is already recovering super, super well, right? It is moving up a couple $100 to the upside. Very, very nice rejection. This looks absolutely fantastic, if I do say so myself. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.